Saturday morning to you, everybody. Welcome into the 615 Prep Scoreboard. We have just wrapped up another great week of high school football in Middle Tennessee. Week 8 in the books. Scott, good morning. I see you've got your coffee.
Yes, I do. That's my McDonald's coffee, not a sponsor. Love my Keurig. Also not a sponsor.
Right.
Yeah, but oh no, I tell you, after a late night, you need a little injection of caffeine.
No doubt. And I don't know if you need that much caffeine after some of the games we saw last night, but never hurts.
Good morning, A1 Junior Squad.
Well, there are still several teams that are off this week due to fall break. That's a little bit lighter schedule to go over from scores, but that's not going to stop us from doing so. So let's just go ahead and dive right in and get some highlights from Thursday night as we'll pull up Overton and Cane Ridge for you. Ugo Amati and Theo Jackson from the Titans were there supporting their old alma mater, Overton. First quarter, first drive. It's Overton's Javon Edmondson from 4 yards out, getting the edge and scoring. It's 6-0 Bobcats as the extra point was blocked. Ravens had some trickery on their first series. The reverse pass, not a double reverse, folks. Most Phillips III finds Byron Davis, 20-yard touchdown there for the Ravens. And they took a 7-6 lead on their opening drive. Overton came back in the first quarter. Edmondson again, this from 4th and goal from the 1. And he gets in the end zone for the second time of the quarter, 12-7 Overton. They missed the 2-point try. In the second, interception here in the end zone snuffs out Overton's drive. That would have put them up 2 scores. Now, Reggie Goodlow coming right into your kitchen. Getting some powerful running to find the end zone as Cane Ridge gets in from 21 yards out, 14-12 lead for the Ravens. And then the Ravens defense gets involved. Ryder Hagen's pass over the middle. There's a tip drill, and it's Kadarian Fletcher pulling it down for the pick and getting it in along the sidelines for 6. Cane Ridge wins at 21-12 as they didn't do anything in the second half.
You guys get another big region victory tonight. Overton gave y'all everything you could handle.
They did.
Thoughts about this one and how it went for you and for the Ravens?
It was a tough win, but we pulled it off. We got a lot of stuff to work on. It was a good team win, though, overall. But we just got a lot of stuff to pick up. Like, offense got to pick it up. Defense got to pick it up. Defense got to get off the field. So, on 4th and 3rd, big downs,
Yeah. Well, offensively, and after the first half, things kind of slowed down for both teams. The defenses ran the show.
Yeah.
How important was it to get away, not giving them any points after being up at halftime?
It was big, We kept telling D they just gotta keep stopping them. I was trying to punch it in, but they weren't trying to give us offense the ball. They was trying to play keep away from us.
Is this the kind of game you feel like you guys are going to see in the playoffs? These grinded out games in the second half.
Oh, most definitely, because the 3 teams, when we go deep in the playoffs, they're running teams. So it's just going to be just like this. So we just got to play better on D and O. Like, when we get the chance to score, we got to put it in.
As hard hitting this game as this was tonight, how fun was it for you to get out here and just bust him a little bit?
Oh, it was fun. I'm just glad to be back because I've been out for 2 weeks. CPA was Smyrna was my first game back, and I was just glad to play. And today I'm just glad to play too.
How good do you think this team could be in the playoffs?
Oh, we could be a state team this year. We could be deep run.
What's that going to take?
Like on tape?
What's that going to take to get to that level?
Hard work, dedication, and just playing for somebody. Always serving. Our coach always tell us to serve, play for one another.
All right.
Yeah, 21-12 final for the Ravens of Cane Ridge. And we talked to Reggie Goodlow last week, too, after he came back against Smyrna, Scott. And The biggest thing from this one was their defense. They didn't break. They gave up 7 fourth-down conversions to Overton in this game, but only 12 points.
Yeah, Coach Woods is, he's been reinforcing that overcoming adversity and not folding when you're faced with difficult circumstances. I think it's starting to pay off in the culture there.
Yeah, Cane Ridge wins the Region 6-6A title with this one too, as they're now 5-0 in league play, 7-1 overall heading to their open date. Overton 5-2 with the loss, 2-1 in region play. The number 2 seed still very much in play for them, however, as they have 3 more region games to go. On to some more Thursday night scores. CPA pulls off the shocker possibly of the year, 35-14 over Oakland. We talked about this game, and okay, first off, let's give Reggie some credit. He did pick CPA to win this one, spoken like a true cat.
Well, I mean, what did you expect? When it comes down to cats and humans, who's he going to pick?
Yeah. The biggest thing for me, though, it was a tough spot for Oakland because it's a Thursday night game in between 2 crucial region games, and you're on fall break. It's a tough spot for them, and CPA exploited it, 35-14. A 36-game winning streak for Oakland now gone, so that resets to 0. And honestly, for me, I'm a little concerned about their opponents going forward, because we're going to see, I think, from Oakland next week and going forward is a focused and probably angry team.
Yeah, I think the Battle of the Borough could be kind of bloody if Riverdale's going to have to show a lot of grit because the Patriots are going to come in really ticked off. I know that there's a lot of things you can learn from losing, but I just don't have a feeling that Coach Creasy necessarily agrees with that moniker.
And also, too, let's look at it from the CPA side. This has probably opened eyes down the road at Lipscomb Academy, because when those 2 teams tangle later this month, that might not be such a lopsided game.
No, and the ability to run on the Oakland defense was huge. And I think that if I'm Lipscomb Academy, I'm sitting up a little bit more, looking what's down the line.
They bust a 2-game losing streak after losing to CPA, or not CPA, but Cane Ridge and FRA before that big win for the Lions. They're 4-4 now, hitting their open date. As Oakland, weird seeing a loss in their column, but they're 6-1, going to Riverdale next Friday. East Nashville 43-8 over Maplewood. The Eagles keep on rolling. They're 8-0 heading into their open date next week. Maplewood now 3-5, as they'll have next week off. 50-9 for Hillwood over Glencliff. The Hilltoppers get their 2nd win of the year, also 2nd win in region play. Glencliff dropping to 0-7 with the loss. McGavock 48-20. The Raiders now 6-2 as they hit their open date. And Antioch now 0-8 as they have week number 9 off as well.
But the thing that impresses me about this is not, McGavock is a great team, but this Antioch team has found some offense, and they're going to be better sooner than later.
Yeah, you can see this growing a little bit for them. It's not showing up in the win column yet, but they're keeping pace with teams longer than they have been, and that's a stepping stone forward for them. So shout out to Antioch for making some moves forward. Hopefully that program will get things on the right track pretty quickly. More Thursday night fun for you guys. Scott, you were over at Mount Juliet, so let's pull these highlights up for you. Mount Juliet getting Lebanon in there on Thursday night, and they get tricky on 4th down early. Anthony Crowell with the pass to Nolan Sandifer for a Lebanon touchdown to put the Blue Devils up midway through the 2nd quarter. Crowell again going to find the end zone. This time from Jalen Abston right there, the back line gets the foot down, 14-0 Lebanon, and that's how they let it at the half. You forget the flag there. He spun the ball and got flagged for it. Abston finds the end zone himself as he cashes into the 3rd quarter, 2-yard out, 2-yard touchdown run for him. 21-0 Lebanon. Mount Juliet gets in. Dearius Morton with the pass to Raider Soto. God, you call it a jump pass. I'm not calling that a jump pass. 27-6, Lebanon with the final, as you see there, touchdown run for the Blue Devils to cap it off.
I wasn't really sure, how you really classify that.
What was it like going into this week? I mean, was there a little bit of talk?
Yeah, we knew since last year, what we did last year, that they was going to come in and play harder. But we came in and wanted it more this year.
So the first half they did a good job of or the first quarter they did a good job of shutting down your offense. What did Coach tell you guys? That made you guys get going?
To be more physical than they are, and that's what we did, and that's what got us to win.
So you get on the board, you get that first score, you get that touchdown. You run a trick play. Walk me through that play.
Actually, we didn't even run it the whole week. They just came up with Coach Mind and they executed real well.
And then your next score, you guys get on the board. That was your pass. That was a dime you dropped in there to Anthony Crowell, right?
Yes, sir. We knew he had the one-on-one chance, and I gave him a chance, and he executed with it.
Now, you go in halftime, you're up. You've got them kind of on the ropes. What did Coach tell you guys at halftime?
Keep pounding, don't let up.
That sounds like Coach Gentry.
Yes, sir.
You guys go from here. You had a couple rough weeks. You kind of overcame that. You guys, you feel like your team is better for it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
I think those two losses brought us together and it made us work even harder.
Outstanding. Well, you guys got you still got some tough games ahead of you, but
yes,
you got your eye on that region.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations on the win. Appreciate your time. Tell me about this week coming up to this game.
We was really looking forward to this game this whole entire time. Like, even though since last year I know how bad we beat them, but we still like coming from as rivals since they're right across from us. And we came into this game, it was like state championship game wise.
You got to throw a touchdown pass. Yes, I've heard you didn't practice that all week.
We practiced it a little bit, but we only ran it like twice, and I was happy that I didn't. Every time I threw it was a good pass. So we executed and we did it out on the field, and I love how it worked.
Were you excited when you heard the call?
Yes, sir, I
was. It was a good pass. I mean, Jalen better watch out.
Yes, sir.
Then you make that great catch in the back of the end zone. Jalen dropped a dime there for you. What are you gonna say about your quarterback? And
I really think we really got the best quarterback in the nation. I really think he's very slept on, and I really think we need to get him like Mo Nolan out there and everything, because he really can throw some balls in tight windows that people don't really think he can. And people think he's really a scrambling quarterback, but he can do anything he wants.
Well, let's talk about defense for a little bit, because you guys you're playing two ways, and your defense did a good job of shutting them down.
Yes,
I mean, they didn't get on the board until late in the third quarter.
Yes,
what was the mindset going into this week?
The mindset that was going into this week is really just to stop the running back, because they like to use the running back, get outside. So what we did, we just kept them inside, and then hope for our defensive line to do their job, and they did execute it very well.
Well, you had a couple of rough weeks.
Yes, sir.
You come back and win. And how has it been since those two losses?
It really been, since those two losses we had, we was like really like, we kept our head up. Even though we made some mistakes, it was like simple mistakes that we could have easily fixed going into the games in the future. We really got all those situated, and now we're just getting it put together.
So now it's just, is it just focus on the next game? Because, it's really, all you can do as far as the region's concerned.
Yes,
is
really just focus on the next game, hope we can keep on getting wins as much as we can, and just doing what we need to be doing.
Well, outstanding. Well, congratulations
yes,
on
sir.
the win. I guess you guys got bragging rights?
Yes, sir.
Well, and we appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
And take care.
Yes, sir.
27-6, Lebanon over Mount Juliet, as the Blue Devils head into the open date with a 6-2 mark. Scott, big for them, as those guys mentioned, getting back off that 2-game losing streak that they had earlier this year.
Yeah, it was really important for them to get back to their winning ways. They feel like the two losses are, completely on them, just making unnecessary mistakes, unforced errors, and things of that nature. I know that they can't. It's unlike. I don't believe they can win the region, but what I was trying to say was trying to get that home playoff game. For second in that region. The loss to Coffee County pretty much kind of killed that for winning the region. It was interesting what he said about stopping the run. Because they did a really, really good job. I think it was 36 total rush yards, I think, for Mount Juliet. They did a tremendous job of stopping the run in this game and really forced Mount Juliet to throw.
Yep. Big for them. And Mount Juliet now 5-2 as they will host Republic next week on Thursday night. We'll hear more from Chuck Gentry, have an extended interview with him at the end of the show, so stick around for that as well.
Oh, that's going to be good.
Northeast put up a lot of points against Father Ryan, 62-55. They picked off JoJo Crump 4 times in this one. Father Ryan falls to 2-6 in the year. Northeast now 4-4. As the Eagles will have next week off, Father Ryan will have Macaulay coming in next week, so it does not get any easier for the Fighting Irish. Another Thursday score, Nashville Christian 49, Northwest 19. The Eagles now 5-2. They have Columbia Academy next week. Northwest is off in week number 9. Rossview 22, Kenwood 14. Both teams up there in Clarksville are off in week number 9. FRA, big win at Stratford, 55-18. Panthers now 7-1 as they head into their open date. Stratford now 1-7 as they'll have next week off as well. Clarksville 30-14 winners over West Creek. Jamar Carnell has had 10 rushing touchdowns in his last 3 games, and the Wildcats are starting to find some momentum here in the second half of the season. They're now 5-3 as they head into the open date next week. West Creek falls to 2-6. Before we go any further, let's hear from our sponsors at Fifth Gear Technology Concepts.
In today's business world, it can be expensive to maintain a staff of experienced and knowledgeable IT personnel, especially for a small or medium-sized business. You don't have the time to monitor your own systems or stay up on the latest cybersecurity or technological solutions while trying to service your customers. That's why you should contact Fifth Gear Technology Concepts. Fifth Gear is an award-winning managed service provider that can manage your business needs with local and responsive IT support services. Fifth Gear specializes in fully managed or co-managed IT support, cybersecurity, cloud solutions, and superior customer care that can fit your budget. Call today and learn more at 615-606-3121 or visit us at fifthgearconcepts.com. Fifth Gear Technology Concepts, the latest insights and information in the world of IT.
Listen, folks, on that ad, that's as still as I can stay. I'll just go ahead and tell you that right now. I don't think I could be any more still. On to the Friday scores. Sycamore 17-14 winners over Cheatham County. The War Eagles have had 3 region wins, and they're in a pretty good shape for the postseason. It's been a rough couple of years over there at Sycamore, but they're in a good spot now.
Yeah, they very good.
Yeah. Clarksville Academy knocks off Grace Christian 27-22. The Cougars now get a key region win for them. 5-3 as they hit that open date next week. The Lions going to have to rebound. They're 5-3, but only 1-2 in region play, and that was a tough loss for them for their hopes of getting home field.
Yeah, another big night for DJ Merriweather. 281 yards passing, 3 scores.
Brentwood 7, Franklin nothing. A defensive struggle between 2 very good defensive teams. Listen, Franklin, they're 0-8. They've lost 4 games by 7 points or less so far this season. So another tough loss for the Admirals trying to get win number 1.
That is the toughest team without a win that's out there. I mean, it's hard to me to believe, but they scheduled tough too.
Yep. Brentwood now 6-2 as both of those teams will hit the open date next week. Green Hill 35, Hunters Lane nothing. The Hawks get a shutout in region play to improve to 5-3 as they hit their off week next week. Hunters Lane falls to 3-5 and still winless in region play for them. Creekwood 30, Greenbrier 6. We were talking before we started the show about what surprised us last night. This result surprised me the most. We talked about Greenbrier all year. They were unbeaten in region play, had a shot at the region title. This doesn't kill it, but it really hurts it.
Yeah, I'm going to admit that, looking at this game going in, I thought this was Greenbrier all the way. This really, really surprised me that this Creekwood team has been, through no fault of their own, kind of, cruising under the radar. and they looked like a very, very good defensive team.
NBA 35, Ensworth 17. The Big Red keep on rolling. They're 7-0 now as they hit that open date. Ensworth now 6-1. They're 8-0, not 7-0. Apologies for that. But NBA, they just keep going in Division II AAA.
Yeah, they're a great team. They played the game in honor of Chris Schmidt, a beloved coach and teacher at NBA. They had his service the day before. A really sad situation, but they rallied around his son, who's a member of the team, and kind of dedicated this game to him.
Ensworth is actually 6-2, not 6-1. So apologies for the error on that record. But let's move on. Probably the game of the night that we had over in Nolensville as Paige came in there. Both teams unbeaten in 5A as Paige and Nolensville. Paige number 2 ranked in 5A. Nolensville 4th ranked. Early on, Paige gets in first. Colin Hurd finding Boy Smith for a 17-yard touchdown here. And it's 7-0 Paige. Nolensville answered with a 66-yard touchdown from Kobe Walton to Dylan Northcutt to tie it up. And then Ethan Cunningham busted through the defense. He goes in from 23 yards out as Paige took a 14-7 lead. That's how it went to the locker room at halftime. Third quarter, Nolensville took advantage of an interception. Here's Chance Fitzgerald on the jet sweep. He gets in from 4 yards out as the Knights come back to tie things up at 14 apiece. Paige's offense, check out this throw from Colin Hurd to Henry Kaysen. You can't put it any better than that. 38 yards as Paige took the lead, 21-14 early in the fourth quarter. Nolensville, though, they weren't done. A methodical drive by the Knights late in the fourth ends with Samson Johnson getting in from 7 yards out to tie things up here at 21. And we need overtime to settle it. Paige took the ball first in overtime. This is 4th and goal to 1. Watch number 40 on the left side of your screen. That's Joseph Carano busting into the backfield, breaking it up, and ending Paige's first overtime series with no points. Only Nolensville needed points to score. Samson Johnson provided them. In from a couple of yards out to win it and walk it off for the Knights as Nolensville wins 27-21 in the extra session and gets to 8-0.
Instant classic. Instant classic.
Oh, Samson, man, you've had a few minutes to kind of process what happened tonight, huh?
I still don't really know what happened.
Yeah, this is a stepping stone for you guys. Y'all hadn't beaten Paige before. I mean, how big was this win for you guys tonight?
It was huge. Region championship, both teams 7-0, crazy atmosphere, senior night, last regular season home game, and it couldn't have ended a better way. We gave everybody what they wanted, and we came out victorious.
No, this game was kind of sloppy at times. There were some mistakes on both sides. It was kind of sluggish for a while there. How tough was it tonight, just getting through the second and third quarter as tight as y'all were?
Coach told us all week it wasn't going to be easy. The other games, we knew what this game was going to be about, and all that matters, we found a way to win. And Coach told us all week it wasn't going to be easy. And we pushed through that adversity, and we won.
Coach Derrick said he kind of felt like you guys were about to pop the big one there late in the fourth quarter. Did you kind of feel like you were able to wear Paige's front down?
Yeah, they were all exhausted. We all saw it. So we trusted our run game, and we just attacked them, and we scored.
That overtime coin flip is always fun because, I mean, if you go on defense first, you're in a good spot. So when you guys got the stop on fourth down, what's going through your head as you head down on the field?
Let's go score. I'm glad we were on defense first. We have one of the best defense in the state, and I trust them on anything. And I love those guys, and they put us in a position to win this game.
Your defense guys did a really good job tonight, forcing turnovers. They played very well all year. How big has their improvement been for this team to be 8-0 right now?
Well, everybody talks about our offense, but we need to start giving props to our defense with I think it's like 14 turnovers now they force, and we need to start putting some respect on our defense.
Well, now that you guys have this one out of the way, what's next for you? I mean,
we have a bye week next week, and then we have Franklin. Next week we just take time to to get healthy, and then Franklin the week after.
That off week going to be feel pretty good.
Oh, it's gonna feel great. It's gonna feel great.
Awesome, man. Congratulations. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There were so many big catches that you made tonight and key downs to keep drives going and keep the offense moving down the field. Now, what kind of things did you guys scheme this week to get you open in those situations?
Oh, really? It was just trying to get me on the side by myself because they were on the backside. They were man to man. The coaches just trusted that the corner couldn't guard me 1-on-1.
You guys are 8-0. You've beaten Paige for the first time. How big was tonight for you guys?
It was really huge. It was just big for the whole community. The whole community was waiting for us to play Paige. They've been waiting on this game ever since last November. So it was just really big for us to beat them, especially here in Nolensville, because we had to play them 2 times last year at Paige.
Let's go back to that game in November for a second. Now, the feeling that you guys had when y'all had a chance in the last play and lost that game, did that feeling carry over to this year?
Yeah, it carried over all offseason. Every time we were training, it would just be in the back of our mind. We felt bad for our seniors. Our senior people we never seen cry were crying. So that was really just hurt us. So we just had to go get it back.
Now that you guys have an off week next week, you kind of enjoy this. Have you had a chance to process what just happened?
No, I really haven't processed it right now. Like I'm just glad we got the W. I kind of feel like we were gonna win the whole week, but it's really gonna settle in tonight. I'm gonna lay down and go to bed.
The atmosphere tonight. I mean, you had all sorts of media here, and how crazy the crowd was tonight. Is this one of the most fun games you've been a part of?
Oh, for sure, definitely. It's our rivalry too. It was definitely one of the most fun games I've ever been a part of.
All right, for you, you've had such a big season so far. I mean, personally, what do you want to do these last couple of games to get ready for the playoffs?
I just want to keep winning, keep beating teams by a lot, keep out, just being more physical than everyone.
All right, tell me how good this team is in your words after you guys started 8-0.
This team is really going to make a lot more improvement from last year. I feel like this team is just really good.
Defense, especially considering the turnovers that you guys have forced, you're scoring off of them. Now, the interception Eric Harper had in the end zone. How big was that in the first half, knowing that you guys could have been down 2 scores?
That was just really big because offense really wasn't clicking, and defense is always has our back. And you saw there in the first half when they only held them to 14 points. We should have been doing our job, but we ended up coming out with that.
Well, congratulations on the win. Go rest up and have a good off week.
Yes, sir.
The thing that I take away from what Chance Fitzgerald said was the improvement from last year, because defensively they weren't great last year. Now they are.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about them carrying over the pains from last year to this year and applying those to the defensive side of the ball. This Nolensville team is very, very good, and we knew that this was a game to circle early in the year. And we both off the air both kind of expected this kind of game. But it makes me wonder how Paige reacts now.
Yeah, and they've got they're a fairly young team. I mean, I think they have 13 seniors, and Charles Rathbone said maybe 8 of them played. So they're underclassmen getting serious reps here for this Paige program, who was number 1 for a time this season, and still going to be highly ranked, even though they lost this one. So.
Yeah, and you're right. That was an absolute beautiful pass.
It was a great one. But here's the thing, though. When you look at Chance Fitzgerald's numbers, 13 catches, 99 yards, what doesn't show up there is how many of those were drive extenders on third down when they needed yardage to move the sticks, and he was in the right place at the right time. It's a good job by Paul Derrick and that Nolensville offense to scheme everything up to get him in the right spots to move those chains, because without those catches, Paige is winning this ball game. All right. Here's another stunner. Centennial 28, Ravenwood 24. The Raptors again without Chris Parson. The Cougars took advantage of it. They're now 7-1, and what this sets up is a 4-team free-for-all for the number 1 seed in this region until week 11, because Centennial plays Brentwood and Ravenwood plays Independence in week 11. The 2 winners of those are going to be tied for first place, and whoever ends up in first place will have won their tiebreaker. So.
Yeah, this is a hot pretzel of a knot at the top of the standings here. It's we knew Centennial was good. We knew Centennial was good, especially defensively. But to be able to get that Tannerly 80-yard run with 3 minutes left to kind of cap it and then finish it off with the interception, we wondered about this Ravenwood team without Chris Parson. And last week it kind of made us feel a little better with Carter Pace. But they had Cartua Chapman. My understanding is he went out late in the fourth.
Yep.
And that's so they may. I'm not sure the extent of injuries or what, but it'd be interesting to see what happens if they are down 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, don't adjust your screen. That does not say Saturday. It says Saturday, but it should not be. That was from last night, so we're not going back to the future on you here. BGA gets their first win of the season, and they did it in style, 64-0 over Republic. Good for the Wildcats to get out of the winless group, and Republic now falls to 0-5. Republic goes to Mount Juliet next week. BGA is off in week number 9. And before we go any further, we want to take a moment to hear from our folks at Innovate Medical. Continuing on from Friday night, let's load up Springfield and Beech. Let's highlight over from Stafford Island. Springfield coming in off the loss to Henry County. Beech playing good football so far. Logan Leffert with an absolute bomb, 55-yard field goal that easily could have been made from close to 65 yards. Put Springfield up 3-0 in the second quarter. Here's Darius Johnson in from 2 yards out for the Buccaneers. They take a 7-3 lead. Let's add on with JP Courtney from the yard out, 14-3 as the train horn goes off over there on Shackle Island. They added the Keenan punt return for a touchdown to go 21-3, and then Keenan again, 78 yards as he weaves his way through the Springfield defense, gets past the final tackler, and goes all the way into the end zone in the fourth quarter to put the Bucks up 28-3. He's cruising at that point. Springfield would get some points here. Long distance run from Jaden Hurst around the end, down the sidelines. All in all, 81 yards for Hurst as he finds the end zone to make it 28-10 Beech. This can turn into a track meet there in the fourth quarter because Beech would add another long touchdown of their own here in just a second. Darius Johnson to the back, and he's going to take this handoff. Finds a seam, finds some green, finds the end zone. 80 yards for Johnson, who had a big night for the Buccaneers. Beech wasn't done after that. Up 35-10 here. It's Shelton Swafford. He finds the end zone from 15 yards out. Powerful run there at the end, an angry run to finish that one off.
Darius, you had a couple of big runs. Nothing more probably bigger than that one right before half that set up the initial score.
Yes,
How big was it getting that score right before the half?
It was big. It gave us a little momentum going into halftime. And once we had that touchdown, we can't let up. We got to keep our foot on the pedal. And once we saw our quarterback go out, we're like, this game's ours.
Yeah, in the first half, in the first quarter especially, it seemed like you guys were struggling, maybe feeling out the defense.
Yes, sir.
What was it that they were doing that maybe had stopped your run game a little bit?
They slanted it hard. They were physical. We just really didn't know how they're going to line up. They'd mix it up. So we had the first few drives we had to adjust what they were doing, and once middle of the game got used to it.
Yeah, it seemed like in the second half you got that opening drive, and you come out. How big was it to get that score and that opening drive in the second half to get that cushion?
It was real big. After that, we all knew we had to come out hard because if we let up, they were going to come back and shove down our throats. So just a really big drive for us.
Now your defense played really well. What's your thoughts on the Buccaneer defense?
We're a good defense. And if we play up to our level, I think no team can compete with us. We came in thinking it's going to be a good game, so we had to be physical and couldn't let up.
Well, you go out of this, and it seemed like in the fourth quarter, y'all were trading punches back and forth on long runs. I mean, did you get tired there near the end?
I was exhausted. I was so tired.
Now you go up. You got Gallatin next week,
Yes, sir.
So you got a big region game coming up.
Yes, sir.
You guys going to be ready for that one?
Yes, sir. We will. And it's at the Green Wave. We'll be more than ready.
All right. Well, congratulations on the win. Best of luck on the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Coach, the first half was a fairly tight half. What were they doing that on defense that was keeping you guys from moving the ball?
Well, they were just doing, their quarterback is a good runner and a good passer, and they just do a lot of things to make you play, run, and pass, and you have to play the quarterback and the tailback on the run. They did an exceptional job of being physical and getting after us and staying on schedule. They didn't have any negative plays hardly. So it was putting a lot of pressure on us because they're getting third and short, or they get a first down on second down, so they stayed ahead of the chains all the time. And then defensively, they gave us several different looks. They had a lot of line stunts, a lot of movement, that we were trying to do some things that we thought would hurt them, and at the end of the day, it hurt us more than it hurt them. So at halftime, we just made some adjustments on both sides of the ball. We were able to get some points and get some stops in the second half.
Yeah, that you got that score about 2 minutes I think left in the half that put you up. I believe that was how late it was in that half. But how big was that to get on the board and get that lead going into the half?
Well, it was a great momentum changer. I think that let their guys know, hey, they can still score at any time. I think that was a pretty long run that we scored on. So it was huge for momentum coming out in the second half. We were going to get the ball, have an opportunity to drive down, score again. So that was a great play at the end of the half.
It looked like into the third quarter, you take the opening drive down, you score. It's like you started wearing down their defense. Did you feel like your team may have been, the conditioning of your team helped in that second half?
Well, I think, maybe they got a little bit tired, but it was just a physical ball game on both sides of the ball. We had some guys that were tired and banged up a little bit, and they had some guys that were tired, but I guess we had, a few more plays than they did, and maybe it took a little bit of a toll on them.
You have Gallatin next week. That's right, you do.
Big region game.
So you come out of this, you think you came out of this relatively healthy?
Yeah, fairly healthy. We got some bumps and nicks and bruises. Typical stuff for this time of year, I think.
Well, congratulations on the win, Coach. Good luck next week with Gallatin. I appreciate you taking time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Big win for Beech over Springfield, 42-10. As we get back in here and talk about this for a minute. Beech, to me, is one of those teams that is just underrated. I think partly because of the region they play in has not been all that good this year.
Yeah, they were stopping Springfield's offense even before Devin Crenshaw went out with injury. They were doing a really good job. I mean, it seemed like every other play you were hearing Bronco Hanks' name being called. He's a leader on that defense, and defensively, their cornerbacks are good. Unfortunately, Devin Crenshaw did go out with a shoulder injury, probably midway through the second quarter, and didn't return. Talking to Devin after the game, he doesn't think it's that serious. He feels like he'll be back for the Portland game. And talking to Coach Wilson after the game, he also believed that it was largely at that point it was precautionary because he thinks that structurally he thinks everything right now is fine. Of course, without they have to see how things progress, but he thinks that that he'll be back as well. But it was a huge loss to a Springfield team whose offense revolved around that position. The great thing for Springfield is that they got some guys out there that into some varsity situations. But going back to Beech, this team is a tremendous threat to anybody that they play. Their running game is second to none. I think that you're right that they're rolling underneath the radar for a lot of teams out there.
Yeah, Springfield fortunate that they have an open date next week, so Crenshaw can get healthy for that Portland game in 2 weeks. Beech travels to Gallatin for undoubtedly what will be the region title game for them next week. Keeping on with the scores from Friday, Wilson Central 39, Station Camp 30. The Wildcats have found some ground after a 0-5 start. They've won 3 straight.
Well, we knew that this team was going to get better. They were a young team, but they were going to get better as the season progressed.
It's a tough loss for Station Camp in the region races, and they're now 1-3 in region play, and postseason berth is not guaranteed for them anymore.
Mm-mm.
Independence hangs on to beat Summit 26-21. Summit now 1-7 on the year. Independence 4-4 after the victory. Tough one for the Eagles to get a win, but a good one for them is they're going to need that tight game experience when they play Ravenwood for week 11. Gordonsville 35, Trousdale County nothing. The Tigers dominate this from start to finish. They go to 6-2 on the year. Trousdale County still looking for that first win of the year. They're 0-8, and they'll have Whites Creek next Thursday. Watertown shuts out Harpeth 26-0 as the Purple Tigers get to 3-5. Harpeth now 5-3 and 2-2 in region play. And the Indians now reeling after that really good start from the season. To the out-of-town scoreboard. Now Davidson Academy Thursday night, 49-20 winners at North Point Christian. Montgomery Central fell 31-0 against Tullahoma, and Pearl Cone knocked off Marshall County 35-23 on Thursday night to put themselves in first place in their region. On Friday, it was Fairview 56-0. Cannon County over the Tennessee Heat 28-19. Joe Burns falls to Cascade 34-0. Easel Harding a 29-6 winner over Chattanooga Prep. Brentwood Academy all over Cornerstone Christian 47-0. Liberty Creek falls to Crittenden County out of Kentucky 28-14. White County defeats Hillsborough 35-21. Lipscomb Academy shuts out Knoxville Catholic 42-0. Macon County 35, Stone Memorial 34. There's a big one there.
Yeah, and you know, we talk about players making impact. I just want to read you this. Opening kickoff return. Gabe Borders returns for touchdown. Macon County. Let's see. Punt return. Gabe Borders returned. A rush for 28 yards on touchdown. Gabe Borders. Somewhere in here, he receives a touchdown. There it is. For 73 yards. I mean, it was the Gabe Borders show again, but still this game went down to a 2-point conversion that Stone Memorial did not get.
Yep. Big win for the Tigers there as it keeps them in the region title race and actually puts them back in the driver's seat after their loss to Upperman last week. All 4 teams are still in play for that region, and a couple of games going down to the end of the season to decide who will win that region in 4-4A. Red Bowling Springs falls at Caverna, Kentucky, 38-32. Mount Juliet Christian into the win column for the first time this year, 12-11 over Sale Creek. Hendersonville needed a big night from Steven Mack, 40-34 winners over Shelbyville. Spirited effort from Shelbyville trying to get its first win of the year, but it did not come to fruition for them. The Commandos now get that win and get to their next game with a W there. Final score from last night: White House Heritage falls 48-13 to Waverly, as the Patriots still 0-8 on the season. And we mentioned we wanted to show the interview from Lebanon's Chuck Gentry, so let's go ahead and pull that one out.
Talk about what your defensive thoughts were this week going into this game to stop their running attack.
Well, our goal was to tackle, and in the 2 games where we've lost, we didn't feel like we tackled well. We've been working on it, but they've got 3 really good running backs, and we knew we were going to have to tackle them, and they're all 3 different. But the key is to winning football is blocking and tackling, and defensively we knew we had to tackle, and then try to keep most things in front of us, but we wanted to make them try to throw the football.
And your defense was able to get a couple of turnovers. One of them that really kind of led to the score that put you up 2 scores in the game, the fumble recovery. You know, but I don't believe that you guys turned the ball over at all. You know, I know that we talked a few weeks ago, and you were concerned about those mistakes. Are your guys addressing that and have been addressing that?
Well, one of the things that we said coming into the game, 3 things: kicking game, tackling. You hit on that one, and then don't turn the ball over and try to create turnovers. And because that's so big, momentum swings and short fields and things like that. And it was, good to see our kids execute what we came here to do.
Well, there was an awful lot of laundry in the first quarter. I think you guys in the first half had like 9 penalties for I think it was 82 or 92 yards, something like that. I mean, it seemed. I know they had to be frustrating because of just the nature of the calls.
Eventful. I'll call them eventful. We backed our kids up all the way to the hill there and made sure that we were on the thing in the second half. After we talked to the ref at halftime, we had a mutual understanding of what was going on, why, and everything else. And it's just one of those things.
Yeah, I actually had heard a referee talk to somebody else that I've never seen a team back up that far. But considering the nature of the penalties you had.
Well, again, in 6 years, I've never got an unsportsmanlike. Got one tonight, and then he told me if anybody over that sideline gets one, you're gone. So didn't want that for sure, and so tried to handle that the best we could.
Well, let's change tack a little bit and talk about your offense and talk about Anthony Crowell. He got to throw one tonight. Something that he said that he didn't work on this week, but he's done it a couple times and practice felt good about.
Yeah, we worked it the past 2 weeks. Didn't get it. Practice this week, had no plans, but on 4th and 6, felt like when he touched the ball in his hands that everybody in the stadium would think that he's running the football. And I told him, you know how to do this. We practiced this. Just go be you. And he probably did it better tonight than he's done it any game. And he threw it up there. We executed it. Nolan caught it. And he's a special young man who does a lot of things for us. Swiss Army knife, and one of the best football players I've ever coached. Glad he's on our side.
And it sounded like in the second half you turned the ball over really to your running back 25 and let him. I mean, Jalen would get a few here or there, but it sounded like in the second half you turned the ball over really to your running back 25 and let him. I mean, Jalen would get a few here or there, but for the most part you were just pounding.
Well, that was the goal at halftime. Let's run this clock, have good clock management, and let's be physical and come off and try to control the game on the ground. And Sean Heath and those 5 offensive linemen, tight end, sniffer, and those wideouts even blocking. Good job. I'm not patient enough sometimes, but I knew we had to be tonight to do it the way that they were probably going to play us, and that's what we wanted to do.
Very good. Well, Coach, you had those 2 unfortunate losses. Do you feel like, your kids have learned from that and have kind of taken on the challenge that you set forth for them?
Before tonight, I would have said I don't know, but I think so. But with teenagers, and it's an ongoing battle every day. And I think we're a pretty good football team when we do the things that we can do. But then again, when we don't get out of our own way, sometimes we're not a very good football team. So I know the head coach has learned some lessons from that. I wish I had that drive with 6 minutes at Coffee County back, and we probably would have run it 3 straight times. But, you live and you learn. Some of the things, I told them after the game, the 2 play calls that we called on 1st and 3rd down, it's just us not executing. You live and learn. Sometimes you learn more from a loss than you do from a win. And, I think those two games kind of got us, hopefully, focused for the stretch.
Well, Coach, I know you're going into fall break, so I've taken enough of your time. Congratulations on the win. Enjoy it, and take some time off. I hope you're.
We're gonna golf tournament tomorrow, family day on Saturday, church on Sunday, and then I'm gonna hibernate for a few days.
Well, that sounds like a plan. Well, Coach, congratulations on the win. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank y'all for being.
Yeah, it was kind of a bizarre beginning to that game. Both teams right out of the gate get sideline warnings. And then it seemed like the referees were really mad at the flags the way they were kept throwing them on the ground. Both teams get sideline infractions, and then Lebanon gets another one. I mean, we were barely through the first quarter, and we had two sideline warnings, 3 sideline infractions. At one point, as Coach said, he got a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against him. It was just kind of a bizarre first half. The number of flags that were being thrown. I mean, it was at some point it almost got comical.
This kind of been a point of discussion last night about that particular thing with the sideline warnings. And what have you seen in the games you've covered this year? Has that been a real recurring thing for you or your games? Or
I haven't say that I've noticed it a lot. I mean, it was really I've heard from a couple of people that last year's game between these two teams there was an issue, and that maybe it was a point of emphasis this year. I did notice that that some of the referees are taking a little bit wider stance. I do know that one photographer I know was behind the white line and still managed to get his camera almost knocked out of his hands by a referee coming down. So I don't know whether they're asserting their territory a little bit more, and that's what that line's there for, granted. And but I can't say that I've seen anything. That's what stood out to me. I can't see that it was anything that I'd seen before in that amount. Now, usually, as as we do covering on the field, wanting to get the shot, we do stray over that line sometimes, and thankfully most referees will remind us, hey, I need you to stay back. Hey, I'm going to run over you. As somebody who's been knocked out of their shoes by a referee, literally, I understand and respect that line most of the time.
Trying not to laugh here, but I remember that particular incident. So yeah, I've had it happen too. It's certainly something we got to be mindful of when we're covering games. I mean, but I just wanted to see if that had been, if the sideline warnings had been a recurring thing, but it seemed like it was just maybe a one-off last night. Hopefully.
I mean, have you seen anything that's that has shown you that it's a point of emphasis?
I actually haven't. I mean, not in the sideline warning realm. Now we've discussed like the players' knee pads and having covered knees. That's been a major point of emphasis here.
You're absolutely right, and tell you the truth, I've not seen that called in the last few games. So evidently that got across.
Now I've had several in the last few weeks.
Have you?
It's been an every week thing this year in games I've seen. Somebody's been sent off for knee pads not covering their knees. So
which I understand is a safety thing. But you turn around and you look at a game on Saturday afternoon, and you're looking at guys that look like they're wearing jorts.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, it's inconsistent, but and they're going to keep calling it this year. So, something to keep an eye on going forward.
Yep.
Well, that's all the damage we can do in this edition of the 615 Prep Scoreboard, presented by Fifth Gear Technology Solutions. Scott, any last words before we get out of here?
Hi, Ethan. Hi, Cameron. Hi, A1. Appreciate you interacting.
Yep. I'm headed to Westmoreland next Friday night for that 2A showdown between the Eagles and East Robertson. That's our Spotlight Series game of the week for week number 9. Where you'll be, Scott, we don't know yet, because later today you guys can vote on the fans' game of the week.
Yep. I will tell you, also look forward to on our Mid-State 48, I get to do another episode of Gridiron Eats. So, it was amazing.
All right. Good tease there. Well, that's it. Let's get out of here. Enjoy the college football today and the NFL tomorrow, and we will talk to you this week on the Mid-State 48, and we'll get you ready for week number 9. All of those of you who are off on fall break, don't be a stranger. Come watch us, and we'll try to entertain you as best we can. For Scott, I'm Chris. We're out. Take care.